Hello, crypto friends. Hope you're doing well. So we've got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Dash, and EOS, and we're actually going to start with Ripple because, love it or hate it, Ripple is absolutely leading the cryptocurrency space at this point. We started covering Ripple in these daily videos a couple days ago, and I'm certainly not going to take any credit for that. That's coming from just members highlighting the initial bullish signals and then seeing the significant follow through, obviously in a huge way. It's catching everyone's attention. So whether you like it or not, Ripple is the lead in the cryptocurrency space right now. Bitcoin is responding to what Ripple is doing. In my opinion, we have very deep pockets. A lot of people don't like Ripple because it's in bed with the bank, so to speak. And there's deep pockets that are running Ripple right now. Like I've said previously, our news stream on our chat platform, it just grabs, news streams from around the internet. And there's a ton of Ripple articles. So there's a pump coming up. There's a conference, or there's a pump in progress, I should say. There's a conference coming up in a couple of days, and there's just news. And so that news pump, along with big pockets running this price up, has led to a huge surge. And on this move, we got all the way up to the upper 70s, and that took away literally months and months of downside. So that's going to make the bulls perk up their attention very quickly. The fact that we can see that kind of move that fast in the cryptocurrency space. So that has led to a Bitcoin bull break as well. As far as Ripple goes, looking at the shorter term timeframes, obviously we're very overextended on pretty much every longer term time frame. The 4-hour chart with a big upper wick and a volume climax, the hourly chart with a top and now a bottom. So these are the ranges that we're watching on this current consolidation, and using my magnet to make sure they are exactly in line. We've got our high, low of the pullback, and lower high. So this is the range right now as the volume is dropping off. We're going to look for a spike in volume sometime within the next hour or two, and we're either going to see a bear break of 54.2 or a bull break of 62.8. And that's going to determine short-term direction into tonight. These exponential moving averages on the hourly have held ever since the breakout started. So that's what the bulls are keeping an eye on right now, as that's about to be tested. And essentially, if we're going to break 54.2 bearish, that means we're going to lose these exponential moving averages as support. So zooming in even further, there were a lot of bears that tried to jump in on this, and they jumped in too early as we were just, surging to the upside. And the signal really was losing the 5-minute uptrend to be cautious. More aggressive bears entered on the 5-minute volume climax. Highest 5-minute volume candlestick very easily that we've seen on this move. And as we know, climaxes often signal the top of an uptrend or the bottom of a downtrend. So that was the aggressive bearish entry on that climax. Otherwise, we had the low of consolidation, lower high, and then this bear break right here by losing 6.3 support. That was another bearish entry. And just like that, we saw a 10% move to the downside just within 15 minutes of that bear break. So waiting for the 5-minute trend change is the indication that consolidation is underway. And of course, we had the first signal with that volume climax. So for now, it's on the hourly time frame. If this hourly chart does break bearish, the 4-hour time frame can certainly consolidate down and be very healthy still, as it's all green candlesticks the last 10 in a row pretty much. And we're going to be looking for a test of the exponential moving averages as support if we do break that hourly. So if we lose the hourly exponential support, we zoom out to the 4-hour exponential support, just like we did on the downtrend on the way down by zooming out to longer term time frames to find those exponential moving averages and see if they are still support. We're doing that now on the uptrend as far as Ripple is concerned. So that has led to a Bitcoin bull break. The daily time frame, not only did we have a bear break that had no follow through and the bulls showed up, I was talking about how the bulls have been on defense, but they're not proving it to the upside. Well, today, in response to that Ripple move, we are absolutely seeing Bitcoin prove it with a break of this resistance, 65.80. And just like that, this is the highest price we've seen now in multiple weeks. So this is notable not only for that bull break and clear turnaround, the bullish reaction to the ETF delay, and there's some confusion about what the ETF SEC release did come out and say, and that's because it's worded pretty tricky. And it doesn't clearly say there is a delay. It alludes that they're making the decision because they released that so close to the 9:30 deadline. I think everybody's assuming that means a delay, but they didn't specifically say we're going to delay it for this amount of time. So still worth paying attention to, but I do believe that it is going to be after September 30th this time. So what this has done now is put us into the middle of our weekly range. So our weekly range is down at pretty much 6,100 and then up to 7,400. And right in the middle of that range is 67.50. So here we are right in the middle of the weekly equilibrium. We've been saying for a long time, end of September, early October, we're looking for a break. That timeline is lining up really clearly right now. And honestly, if you look at the video that I put out yesterday about crypto and MJ, I'm getting so many signals just in terms of we had the clear signal to go from crypto to Canadian MJ. And now it's almost me standing here saying, is it really giving us this clear a signal to go back from Canadian MJ now that it's been pumped all over CNBC and everybody's heard about it, and go from Canadian MJ back to crypto for this weekly trend change? So it is a possibility. Again, at this point, I'm going 50-50, and I've been favoring the bears on this pattern for quite some time because of the trend and because of the weakness of the bulls. But the fact that Ripple is seeing big money pump it right now, and in my opinion, the big money is intentionally pumping Ripple to get it to number 2 on the market cap spot. And could you imagine if it went number 1? I'm not going to say it's not possible because whoever has the most money can run their coin the hardest. But if we see that move up further, it's obviously gaining a lot of attention and a lot of headlines. So rather than, obviously we have these news releases coming out with Ripple, but the best PR campaign that you can have is price action. And if your price action is standing out comparative to the entire crypto space and then leading it, it's definitely going to gain a lot of attention. And the word Ripple is going to be spoken in the next week a lot more than it has at any point in the last few months. There's no doubt about that. So we're still watching the lower high pattern on Bitcoin. I'm still patiently waiting. I will be aggressive with both swing and short-term positions if we do change this trend bullish, and I will shift my focus from Canadian MJ back to the cryptocurrency space. So that is what we're watching. It's entirely possible to break both ways at this point. Absolutely. And look at the decent amount of, well, I won't say that. I forgot what day it was in the week. I was going to say look at the decent volume. I thought it was Wednesday, halfway through the week. We're getting close to the end of the week, so nothing's going to really stand out at this point. But we are going to look for a volume spike sometime in the next few weeks, and I've highlighted it many times. Look at this weekly chart on Bitcoin. Look at this weekly chart on Ripple, starting the breakout from a very similar chart. And let's now quickly look at some of these Canadian MJ names, because again, the hype cycles are the same. Look at N. That is the same bull move, long consolidation. Now the bulls show up, and I can literally go through and find a dozen charts that look like this from Canadian MJ and led to the bull break. And it's almost like we have a glimpse into the future. Again, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I cannot shake how similar these charts look. So I'm saying that essentially this could be a glimpse into the future for Bitcoin, and even Ripple could be a glimpse into the future of Bitcoin, because that weekly chart is already starting to do a potential move like this. Obviously, we would need a significant amount of bull volume and follow through to be comparable to what the Canadian MJ sector has done. But again, it is absolutely relevant that these cycles of sentiment and emotion are playing out yet again, and it's entirely possible that the cryptocurrency space sees something similar happen. I'm going to be prepared for it if it happens. I'm not going to risk a lot if it doesn't happen, because I'm going to wait for the signals to show me that it is happening. And signal number 1 is Bitcoin changing that weekly trend and breaking the lower highs, with 7,400 the most important level for me currently at this point. With the bull break on the daily time frame for Bitcoin, the shorts are dropping. At this point, the shorts have now dropped about 5,000 in the last 3 days, and that is out of 40,000. So we're talking about 15% or so, less than that, about 12%. 13% of shorts have closed out on this bull move. They're still pretty high. If we look at the weekly time frame, this is still some of the highest range that the shorts have been. So if the bulls keep up this pressure and keep forming higher lows and higher highs, then that is going to cause further short covering. Ideal scenario for the bulls, in my opinion, is for us to set a lower high compared to 7,400, have shorts pile back in, get those shorts higher and higher, as high as possible, and then break those lower highs and have those shorts forced to cover. 4-hour time frame right now, we're testing the high of Bitcoin. So we did just set an hourly support. And again, the hourly exponential is holding just like Ripple is. So support is 66.71 right now, and resistance is psychological levels 68 and 6,900. If we lose the hourly higher low pattern, again, we zoom out to the 4-hour, and we'll look to the 4-hour exponential moving averages to find a 4-hour higher low that is trying to form. Checking in on Ethereum, it too has seen this bull break follow through now on the daily chart. The bull signal was 227.55, and just like that, we're up to 252, essentially an 18% move on that bull break. And look at the increasing bull volume. That is notable as well. Volume is our prove it indicator. These bulls are proving it with the volume. This is the most steady and consistent Ethereum bull volume that we've seen in a very long time, these past 4 days in a row. So the next resistance level is up at 300 psychological. The weekly trend is not going to change anytime soon on Ethereum, because anything under 302 is just a lower high. So The weekly chart has a lot of work to do, but clearly the daily chart has given some big time gains from those lows. And at this point, from those lows, 167, we have seen essentially a 50% move, and that is significant. So bulls are showing up with volume behind it, and we'll see how long we can keep the hourly uptrends. When we lose the hourly uptrends, we look for 4-hour consolidation. Dash, we've been pointing out this daily inside, or this daily equilibrium for quite some time now, and we finally broke it bullish. Pretty much 200, 201 was the bull break. There was a resistance at 199.60 that could be a signal, but if you're that close to a psychological level, I'll always default to that psychological mark and need that to break in order to be looking for the bull move. So we got the bull break. We got about 6% of follow through. It's not one of these high movers. It's not where the action is, but it is clearly shifting that daily momentum back towards the bulls. And we have a weekly chart here that is trying to establish a higher low and then see a bull break to change this trend and get over weekly exponential resistances. So we're keeping an eye on Dash because that daily chart was so clear. EOS getting some strength. Weekly chart for EOS, anything under 683 is just a lower high, but the bulls are certainly making a dent on the daily time frame. Again, solid bull volume 4 days in a row, similar to Ethereum in that regard. And the clear bull break here was 555, and the follow through at this point all the way up to 620. Very notable. What's that, about 15% or so on that follow through. Key resistance of 683, and the move that we've seen on all these individual names that have these 4 big green days in a row, it's significant enough that we can look for a higher low to form when daily consolidation does begin. So the bottom line is bulls have full control in the short term. Ripple is getting a lot of people excited for the potential of bullish action in a short amount of time when breaks do finally occur. We're watching Bitcoin closely to see if the weekly trend is going to change. We're noting the similarities between Canadian MJ charts and the hype cycles that they went through and the crypto cycle that we are watching to play out. Congrats to the bulls. There's been some really nice gains in these quick movers, and we'll see if that trickles outward to the major players and if Bitcoin can change this weekly trend. Long way to go. Still could trade within this tightening pattern on Bitcoin for another 2-3 weeks. So again, not going to rush anything and not going to jump to conclusions. We're going to wait for the bulls to continue to prove it on the trend change, but this is some encouraging signs, specifically the amount of bullish action we've seen. It's waking up the bulls and reminding them all, oh, remember how we made all those gains real fast last year? Well, that can still happen, and Ripple just proved that. So I appreciate you all watching. I hope you continue to do good things out there. Got a clip here of Iceland still, and not even going to pronounce this island, not even going to attempt to pronounce it. It was definitely one of the highlights, and this video is just the ferry ride into the island, and then tomorrow we'll look at the island itself, and it was definitely one of the highlights of the trip. Incredible place, and pretty astounding that there's a population of people that lives on this little island off of the island of Iceland, and I hope you enjoy it. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.